Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And I'm Lacey G.
And we have a lot to get to on this episode. We have to talk about the documentary that was just put out, and we also have to talk about Taylor's appearance on the Colbert Show. Mm-hmm. What do we want to start with first?
Well, I think that, first of all, we have to address the rumors. Yes, today is a holiday. It is Taylor Swift's birthday, and I'm so glad that we get to gather around on her birthday because we all know that we're celebrating, and I saw this TikTok that just related so well.
To the men that have girlfriends that are Swifties, this is your reminder that December 13th, aka tomorrow, is her birthday. And yes, she is a close and personal friend of your girlfriend. You will be celebrating Taylor, okay? And if you say, but she's not your friend, yes, she is. Yes, she is a close and personal friend, and we are celebrating her birthday. Okay.
Here, you guys, we have our Taylor Swift candle.
Yes.
Birthday to you.
Is this creepy?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Taylor Allison Swift. Because she's a
Person close.
friend.
Happy birthday to you.
Make a wish.
Imagine it just like went out. Well, I don't want to blow it out. That feels wrong.
Yay!
This candle was sent to us months ago, and I just keep it here at my desk. And I get comments on it anytime people come into the studio. Happy birthday, Taylor.
But yeah, it's so nice that we actually get together for Taylor Swift's birthday, and she's feeding us this year because we just got, all the interviews that she's been doing, period, since the life of a showgirl is just very revealing. But she went on Stephen Colbert, which we'll get to, her Eras Tour 2.0 that came out, and the documentary.
Only the first 2 episodes, by the way. Like, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but when I was watching, I was like, I could watch hours and hours and hours of this.
Yeah.
And when the second episode ended, I was like, thank God there's more.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. So what do we want to start with?
Colbert happened first.
Yeah, let's do Colbert because there was a lot of really great questions. And I know all of us Swifties were watching thinking, what's the Easter egg here?
Okay, so, at this point in time, we've all watched the interview and we've all watched the docuseries, right?
Yes.
I feel like the interview questions make a lot more sense after watching the docuseries. One of my personal favorite parts from the interview was when he asked her about her favorite songs.
I have asked Dolly Parton, Elton John, Paul Simon, Bruce Springsteen, and more people their top songs from their own catalog.
Oh.
May I ask you, Taylor Swift, what are Taylor Swift's top 5 Taylor Swift songs?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Okay. So, this is so much pressure. You're already writing 5. Oh, my God. So I think I'm going to say that I'm going to need a little time to get back to you on all the 5, right? Because I don't have enough. See? It was too soon to get it out, right? I think that I require, it's those. But I think I require a little bit of time to appreciate my work in a way, and it's constantly changing, right?
Too soon?
It's a little too soon, but I will say I think number 1 is All Too Well, the 10-minute version.
She has good taste.
I'm really obsessed with The Life of a Showgirl right now, the whole album, so I can't really do any of the others, except I will say somewhere in this list I think is going to be a song called Mirrorball from the Folklore album.
What are 3?
It's it came on the other day. A friend sent it to me, and she was talking about it, and I put it on, and I was just like, You know, and then you asked me this question, then I said it. But can we could do an update at some point if I have some time to like look back and be like, no, this is the top 5 we can do.
You've got all the time you need between now and May.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, because us as fans, any given day, those top 5 could change. So I'd like to think it would be the same for her.
For sure. I mean, that's what she was saying. I mean, I kind of, we always joke, we're like, our favorite songs today.
Yeah.
You know? And I almost feel like she was kind of the same way. Like, do you think, I mean, and I'm not going to discredit the fact that she said Mirrorball, obviously, but if her friend wouldn't have sent it to her a few days ago, do you think it would have even been top of mind?
Yeah.
You know? But that's interesting. It makes me think of how long she really sat and thought about the 5 songs that she would submit to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, which granted, that's different because that was like very focusing on songwriting. And this is like, okay, what's your favorite songs?
Yeah.
But I love that he asked her that question. I wonder, do we have that question in our list of questions?
It has to be. Well, probably not top 5, but maybe.
But like favorite song.
Yeah.
I just felt that was so super relatable because of the way that we feel about our rankings. So
for sure.
That justified our struggle that we have every single time and justified Anna's love for Mirrorball even more.
Yeah. I know. That made me so happy. I was like, oh my God, we have the same songs. We have the same favorite Taylor Swift songs. I have a tattoo of a Mirrorball for any new listeners that I got back in 2020, I believe, or 2021, give or take.
Which was going to be my next question. Are you going to clarify to people now that I had this tattoo before
she
Taylor
said that?
Said it was one of her favorites?
Yes.
Documented.
Yes. Let the record show. I had the Mirrorball tattoo back when Folklore came out. There was just something about that song that I just immediately resonated with. And we've done a whole episode about the song Mirrorball if you're curious and you want to, hear more about it, my tattoo and everything. But yeah, it was like, it was just like a little like, oh my God. And it was also really sweet because Colbert is on really late. I personally didn't stay up to watch. I watched it the next morning because I work really early. But I woke up to a lot of messages from our listeners being like, oh my God, thought of you when she said that. Like that's really, really sweet also. So I just love that.
Something else that she addressed on Stephen Colbert was her long-standing career and when she's going to decide to walk away from it for good. Here's what she said.
What I look up to the most in people is career longevity and career longevity, friendship longevity, longevity in their relationships. How do you keep a good thing going? I think there are certain corners of our society that really love that and look up to longevity. There are also corners that are like, give someone else a turn. Can't you just go away so we can talk about how good you were? And I'm like, I don't want to, So
I love the confidence.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I'm
that good.
Yeah. And it reminded me of the lyric in The Life of a Showgirl, the song The Life of a Showgirl. Mm-hmm. And she's like, all the bitches just hurry up and die. Like I'm sure she sees that a lot, but yeah, she just continues to be on top of her game, and it's incredible. As a fan, it's like, oh my God, yes, please don't feel like you have to go away,
Morgan, we were watching the docuseries. Sorry, my daughter Morgan. We were watching the docuseries last night, and she said, "Do you think she'll ever tour again?" I was like, "Absolutely, absolutely."
We're like, if not,
it might look different.
Yeah, it might look different. If not the Eras Tour Part 2, then like in some capacity. I mean, I feel like we've said that on the podcast for forever that she's never gonna just stop creating in whatever form that may be, whether it's writing or just creating music or whatever it be. But she's just such a creative person. So I love it. And it's really interesting because after she said that, I was reading an article from someone saying that, like, why is it that for people in creative fields, they have to be humble? They can't acknowledge that they're the best. They can't acknowledge that they're successful. If you look at other careers like athletes or business people or, things like that, where it's like, oh yeah, you have the GOAT and the best of all time and all this stuff and the CEO and all this stuff. And it's like, in those fields, people that are on top are prideful and they're not looked down upon for being prideful. But in creative fields, whether it's music or writing or actors or things like that, when you're at the top of your game, if you acknowledge that, it's like, whoa.
It's more difficult to judge art, I think.
Yeah,
than it
because it's
is.
more subjective.
I guess.
Like you're not winning a game, a basketball game
Right.
or whatever it
That's
be.
my only
but
guess.
I mean, that's a good point. I thought it was interesting. 'Cause,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I think about a week ago, like Timothée Chalamet, for instance, and the actor, had said the same thing where he was like, I'm working so hard and I'm putting out some of my best work. And and it's true, that's how he feels. And a lot of people were like, hey, you need to come back down to earth a little bit. And it's like, okay, but if he's acknowledging that he's working hard, why is that a bad thing? And then Taylor said that same, like kind of in the same vein. And so people are like, why is it? Like, why is it that in creative fields, people just have to be humble?
Yeah, I guess I've never thought about this until you just said that. But people get upset when Taylor Swift mildly reacts when she wins an award.
Yeah.
But people do like touchdown dances when they score a touchdown. Like,
absolutely.
what's the difference?
Right. Like the entertainment industry, music, movies, TV, it is a competition, you know, like at the end of the day. So why is it looked down upon? And of course she's a woman, so there's that as well.
True.
You know, women aren't allowed to do anything. So there's that.
But it does suck that Taylor is viewed sometimes as greedy because she refuses to stop doing her own craft, and that's quote unquote not giving someone else a chance. And that's just so silly.
Yeah. I agree.
So also on Colbert, she was talking a lot about books and all this stuff that she's into, but she had such specific examples that left some people wondering. I mean, this is what she said on Colbert.
Audiobooks?
Yes. Constantly.
What's your jam on the audiobook?
Oh, okay. So it's always a different one. Like as soon as I finish one, I start a new one, but I'll tell you the elements. Is that okay if I just the elements
parameters
of what I'm looking for is like, you know all the elements of like Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca, that book?
Yeah.
Right? So if you've got like an old, like rambling, shambles, old British mansion covered in moss or ivy, and there's like a mysterious relationship, and he may not be what he seems, and there's like a murder that has happened in the past, but you hear whispers of it. There's like the idea of a ghost or an actual ghost. If you present me with a plot line where there's like a family compound on an island off the coast of Maine, there's secrets in this family, right? This brother, like, what's going on with him? Why don't we know where he's been for 10 years? Why did he just show up? Do you know what I mean? If there's a marriage and the marriage isn't what it seems, and it seems like this dude is like, clearly, like, why are you with him? He's horrible to you. Oh, plot twist, unreliable narrator. She's the psycho.
That sounds like a great book.
Any takeaways from that?
My first thought was like, okay, is this the plot of a music video for like father figure or something along those lines? That was my initial thought. Or that she's just really good at improv.
Really good at improv.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't do that. My brain doesn't work that way. But I would read every single one of those books. I mean, I think they're different plot lines, right? I thought there were 3 separate plot lines.
Yeah,
but
she kind of kept going.
Yeah.
I did find out what book she was listening to in the first episode of the docuseries.
Okay, I was
Yes.
like, what is this? And then I forgot to Google it.
Yes, I found out. She was listening to an audiobook called The God of the Woods by Liz Moore.
Okay.
And I looked up the plot, and it was kind of in those veins. It takes place in the 1970s. I haven't read it. It takes place in the 1970s, and there's a little girl who goes missing. But then later on, you figure out that years before, somebody else in her family had gone missing, and it's a whole like family secrets, like affair, like type of situation.
Okay.
Dark thriller, mysterious kind of
All right.
vibe. And it's like that's what she was listening to like calm herself down.
Right.
So that was the audiobook, and it was only a small little clip. And I was thinking, I was like, I need to find out what that was. And it actually just came up on my feed. The author of the book had posted about it, and it came up on my For You page. Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. And I do have something in more detail about that clip and the significance of the audiobook that she was listening to at the time.
Oh, perfect.
But I saw people online were wondering, like, she still has this motion picture that she's doing. So was this a plot for that possibly. Is that like a look into some of her upcoming projects that are going on? But I also saw, and I've seen this theory and then got away from it. Willow Bowery. Now, we know William Bowery. That was a pseudonym that she used for Joe Alwyn back in Folklore and Evermore. Well, Willow Bowery has been putting out books for a while, and these books just coincide completely with projects that Taylor Swift is doing. There's The Death of a Showgirl, which was a book that came out. The Tortured Poets is the name of a book. So people are wondering if Taylor has been ghostwriting for a long time, but wanted to make her mark as an author rather than ride off of her success of Taylor Swift. So to be taken seriously, used a ghostwriting name and has been publishing books already. I just thought that was really interesting because that came back up in my feed yesterday. But do we want to get into the documentary and all the feels from that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, how many times have we all cried?
Okay. So when I sat down to watch it, I pulled up my notes because I'm going to take notes throughout this entire thing because we were recording today to our podcast. I wrote one singular note in the first 30 seconds. I just put, I'm crying. And then I didn't write any notes after that.
I mean, not to be SNL funny, but I was verklempt a lot.
You were what?
Verklempt.
What does that mean?
You don't know the what characters? It's like Chris Farley? No.
They're too young for that reference.
Oh,
Amy.
they are? So they're
Mike Myers.
They're like Jersey girls.
It's Mike Myers, and he's an older, like New York
old
Jewish lady.
Yeah, and
she has a talk show. And whenever she gets emotional, he says, I'm verklempt.
They've got really long nails and they've curly perm hair. Anyways,
like
I got
butter.
verklempt. Like butter.
Like butter.
Anyways, I got verklempt a lot. And I bawled once. But gosh, it's so good.
At what part did you bawl?
Oh, whenever she was talking with the camera about the stabbings. And it was just, that was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
So I will say that initially I was a little surprised. I wasn't sure exactly, of course, like when they started filming, but there's not a ton of the beginning of the Eras tour because they start filming when she's in London,
Europe,
I believe.
Yeah.
Because she says at one point they were supposed to start filming in Vienna, but then she didn't even make it to Vienna because of what happened at the shows there, and they had to cancel the shows. So it's already like over halfway done of the Eras tour at this point. So she talked a little bit about just the concept and the ideas, and there's a little bit of footage of her planning the Eras tour and announcing the Eras tour and stuff like that. But it kind of just jumps right in to a lot of drama that's happening at that point in the Eras tour. So
yeah, I'm curious about the timeline also because she did say that she was like they were supposed to start, but I didn't know if she meant the entire project or like that crew specifically, because sometimes you'll have like the American camera crew and the European camera crew, but it's all under the same project. So we still have more episodes, so it's possible that it'll go back. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I did expect, not fully expected, but I figured that she would, talk about Vienna and everything that happened then. I didn't think it would happen right away. Like in the first episode, it was really emotional. And during Stephen Colbert, I remember in the interview, he had said, he was like, this is really good, but I was more emotional than I expected it to be. So after he said that, I had the whole day to be like, oh my gosh, like I knew I would get emotional just because of the Eras tour. But it was way more emotional, not just because of all of that, because of Vienna and what happened at the dance party and all of that. Like that was very, very heavy emotion. But also, I got emotional about, when she focused on her backup dancers and Cam and the girlhood of the Eras tour, the way everything was captured, the way everybody just kind of knew that this was something far beyond just a tour. Like there were so many different elements of it that made me feel very, very emotional. But I thought it was beautiful for the opening scene of the docuseries to be her closing night speech.
Yeah.
There was something really beautiful about that. I guess because you would expect it to be like, in chronological order, but for it to open with the closing night, I don't know. And then it's like, okay, let me show you everything that happened
It's
in
good
between.
storytelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she did put all of that in the very first episode, because that was such an encapsulation of the Eras Tour. That was the joy, the pride that it brought, and then the troubles that she had to face and the emotions, and just seeing her talk about that, break down to shoulder that responsibility herself, and for her to meet with the parents of the children that were stabbed, and she's crying and saying like, but I'm going to put on a good face and I'm going to go see them, and I have to be happy for other people. And then Andrea, her mom, talking with her after and saying, I know you don't feel like you did anything, but you did. Like that's all that you can do is show them love and support. And I know that you don't feel like this made a difference, but it did. So, I mean, just to see all the emotions going on there, and for her to walk off stage in London and hug a security guard and ask, did anything happen? Her to think that, I mean, it's so emotional. It's so heavy. And it took me back to that time. And then honestly made me feel silly for the way that I was feeling at the time, because even though I was emotional about everything that was happening, I also was getting ready to go to London as this is happening. And then it's like, oh, well, what's going to happen? Is the tour going to go on? Is Taylor going to be there? I wouldn't blame her for not, but then you can't help but think like, but I want to see her again, you know? And then seeing everything that she went through, and that just made me feel silly that once upon a time I was ever even worried about myself like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something that this documentary really made me kind of think about is, I know sometimes there's a lot of Swifties that wish Taylor spoke up more about political issues and things like that, but she has to be very careful with what she says, when she says things, how she says things. And not to say that because she's super famous, that's just an excuse to be quiet and not speak up on things. But, I mean, there's a terrorist plot to kill a whole bunch of people at her concerts. And so, like, she has to be careful with what she does.
Absolutely.
How she responds, the tone she has, if she's supporting a political candidate or an issue or anything like that. So a lot of times it's better for her to just stay silent and not say a whole lot, and maybe support causes through donating or something like that, rather than posting something on Instagram about her feelings towards something. So, and I think with this documentary, you can really kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. And it's not that she's not thinking about certain things. It's just that, is it responsible for her to speak up or to please some of her fans by speaking up or saying something? So that was pretty eye-opening to me to see kind of how she deals with these really serious issues.
Yeah, I agree, because at the time I was even thinking, just watching her at the part, like, I think it was right before she met with the families, where she was just kind of sitting, or maybe it was right after. She was sitting there and she was just crying, and she's wearing her glittery orange, blazer. And I was thinking, I was like, this woman who brings us so much incredible joy day in and day out for her entire career, her entire life, a lot of our entire lives, honestly. Some people were born Swifties. She is a human being that the amount of pressure that she deals with, 99.99% of people will never understand it. We can sit here and try really hard to understand what that would be like, but after we're done trying, we're done trying to understand that. You know what I mean? Like, that is something that we will just never understand, no matter how much she talks about it, no matter how much people want, something out of her. We will never understand that feeling, that pressure that is on her shoulders all the time.
And the pressure is just one thing. I mean, when she's sitting down with Ed Sheeran, she's like, I'm tired of being hunted like an animal. That's another thing. I mean, there's so many other things that she has to deal with.
Absolutely.
On a daily basis.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because in the interview with Colbert, he had asked her, like, who do you turn to for like advice and things like that? And she said she felt she was really lucky to have Stevie Nicks, who was, a big persona and fame and everything. But even so now, at Taylor's current and rising like level of fame and everything, social media is also a whole different beast, than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like, you just cannot do anything without social media turning against you. And then we recently found out that there was like a smear campaign against her, like on social media when The Life of the Showgirl came out, which kind of felt that way at the time, but it was basically confirmed with data that there was all these bots and like all this negativity and all this stuff because social media just becomes its own horrible entity. So it's like there's so many times where I'm like, I don't blame her at all for not being on social media at all. I don't even want to be on social media sometimes, you know? And it's like I can't even imagine. It's crazy.
So Anna mentioned earlier the audiobook that Taylor Swift was listening to, and KDO_9888 on TikTok mentioned the significance of this book and what that means about Taylor.
I want to talk about the audiobook that Taylor Swift was listening to when she was trying to calm her nerves before she went on stage at Wembley. And I want to talk about it because I think her choice in that audiobook is actually extremely telling of her intentionality and the way she uses art and creates art to help her process and cope with what's going on in her life. So the audiobook she was listening to is called The God of the Woods, and it's by Liz Moore. And the book takes place at a summer camp in the 1970s where a girl goes missing. And really it unpacks a lot of different themes in the underlying book. Threats in safe spaces, how bad things can happen without any warning, women's intuition, and how women can survive systems larger than themselves through that intuition. It also unpacks the cost of silence and the fear of loss and the unknown. Taylor chose to read something that examines fear, puts a name to fear, and that gives fear structure. And that's generally how people regain control of their lives during trauma. For choosing this type of content really said to me that she is observant and she is introspective rather than reactive. She is not trying to publicly perform trauma. She's trying to process it and cope with it. And I thought that that was so beautiful, how generally art helps people process and organize fear. And in a moment where she felt uneasy, she turned to a story about recognizing danger and surviving it with clarity. I think about how often I use Taylor's music and art to process my own fears and my own traumas and my own emotions, and to see her doing that exact same thing and honestly taking a really terrifying situation and processing it head on. That is why she was able to do what she does. That is why she was able to go see those families and be hysterical crying and be completely stoic in the cleaning cart and then get on stage and turn it on.
Yeah, that's so valid. And it's kind of like how we've asked, like, who's Taylor Swift's Taylor Swift, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's kind of a good way to look at that.
I'm just glad that she really likes audiobooks. Huge fan of audiobooks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that her and I have that in common.
Do you read the same types of genres as Taylor, or are you interested in trying it out?
Sorry. So emotional.
For clients.
No, I don't listen to the same audiobooks that Taylor does, but I'm glad she does. I feel like my wife would like that book. My wife does tons of audiobooks too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she would. I'm sure my wife will probably listen to it next. So.
Yeah, I thought about just ordering it to read it.
I will. I'll listen to it too.
Book club?
Yeah, for sure. Audiobook club.
Audiobook club.
So I took a bunch of notes during the episode, and I'm not popular. I'll be darned if everybody didn't need something from me yesterday. So I started off with this really detailed note, and then by the end of it, I'm like, can I just watch this? Does anybody else want anything
Did
now?
I text you yesterday? I think I did.
No, and I'm not talking about anybody. Yeah, I just meant, like, in general, there was just a lot of stuff happening that needed my attention at the time. So I did take a lot of notes. Some words just popped out to me. Tectonic plates. She was talking about all the right people being all the right dancers and all these people coming together. And she gives everybody so much credit. And listening to her speeches, that's just beautiful. But whenever she said tectonic plates, I was like, man, it's been a while since I've heard that term. Made me wonder, like, could this be future song material? She also used the word indicative. And I was like, that would be good in a lyric somewhere. I loved her with Ed Sheeran so
cute.
much. I love that song. I'm emotionally tied to that song. So to have so much in that first episode was just awesome. Them together is great.
I also thought about sorry on the Ed Sheeran, just before you move on real quick. I loved seeing her be so happy to like see an old friend.
Yeah.
At a time where, you know, she was dealing with a lot of emotion. Like she like lit up when they said that Ed was there. And I was thinking, you know, I'm sure when they stopped rolling the cameras and stuff, that I was like, if there's someone you can really talk to, it's like somebody that's in the industry that's as big as Ed Sheeran, and also somebody that knows you. So that must have been really nice. And then I got emotional just during the part where it was showing the surprise songs of them, like, you know, playing Everything Has Changed. Kind of back to what the clip was saying about Taylor, you know, using art to process emotion and stuff. I was like, there they are just in this ginormous stadium with thousands and thousands of people. It's just the two of them with their guitars, and that's it. And their lyrics, and that's it. And it's just like they connected with every single person in that stadium. Like, it just brought me back to the Eras tour. Sorry, Lacey, I cut you off.
No, well, she said that Ed Sheeran is special to bring out to fans when they need a pick-me-up, and I know I do.
Oh.
And I did love seeing them together. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool that one of her backup singers said, it's crazy to have that many songs, talking about the Eras Tour. There's no way we're going to have that many songs. And then they added 3 more.
Yeah.
I loved that part.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool to see her in full boss mode.
Yeah.
Like all the speeches and this is how we're doing things. And
yeah.
It was great.
What I really did love is it's kind of a boss babe move, is how she just comes in and knows the choreography. And it's just like she's been practicing and rehearsing on her own. The dancers have been practicing and rehearsing on their own. And Taylor just comes in. They run through it a few times, and she's like, okay, I got it. I'm going to go now. I'm like, whoa, you're pretty good at this.
It was kind of funny to see her introduce herself to the dancers, because at this point in time, we know, like, they know each other so well and all this stuff. But so to see her, like, introduce herself to the first time to these dancers that we all became so familiar with. And then one of her dancers even said, they were like, nobody has ever done that. Like, I've worked for a lot of tours, and you don't have the boss come in and like crying tears of joy, introducing herself, you know, all of that. I also thought it was really cool how she makes a point to have diversity in her show, you know, where she was like, I want anybody in the audience to look up on stage and see somebody that's like, oh, that could be me. I think that's so important. But also simultaneously, she wants to share her stage. You know, she wants just as much attention on, there was a part where they were choreographing the dancers and she was going to be in the front, and she was like, no, because no one's going to look at them. And so then they changed the choreography for her to be in the back with the dancers. Like, that was such a, like, I loved that part. I thought that was so special.
Yeah, if she wanted to be more about her, she didn't have to have that many dancers. She could have had less dancers, and more people would be looking at her and not the 30 other dancers on stage.
Yeah.
And then she credits her team so much. And I love that. I mean, there was one point, I don't remember if it was episode 1 or 2. I think it was episode 1. But anyway, she was saying, everybody here is perfect and perfectionist, and I'm not going to be the one to mess it up.
Yeah.
Because I'm dancing with the pros, and they're sitting there looking at her the same way. But she's so humble. She's like, I'm not going to be the one to mess this up. I know they're not messing it up. So it's up to me to not mess this up.
It was also really interesting to see how Mandy Moore, her choreographer, basically figured out that to teach Taylor how to dance, you have to go by lyrics and not by counts. And even she was kind of saying, like, I've struggled before because, you know, if you're not a dancer, you don't know, but if you know which lyric to hit which part, and it made it look so her, like so Taylor, so like that's the way that her body moves. When I went to the Eras Tour the first time, I almost thought that she didn't have choreography. I thought she was just kind of running around like Florence, running around on stage, you know, like where there's parts where she's going to different parts and she's just kind of like going like this, like with her hand and everything. And then you see the Eras Tour again and it's like, wait, that was planned. What? That's crazy. So I thought that was really cool because it was so perfected to her as an artist and as a person for it to be the best that she can do. Because if she's up there trying to do dances that she isn't confident in and can't do, then that's a whole different show you're watching.
And to be suggested by a friend, Emma Stone.
That was cool.
Very cool.
That was really cool.
To have Mandy come out and join them on stage after Mandy shared her story in the documentary about not dancing anymore. And they invited her to dance on stage, and she couldn't believe it. Like, really? You want me to be a part of this? Yeah, come on up here. I loved seeing their love for each other. I loved hearing the Emma Stone shout out. I mean, that was great. And she ended the episode saying, happy to be back doing this in a functional way. For the Eras Tour. She picked it back up and let the show go on. Then we get to episode 2. Showgirl vibes immediately.
Magic in the Eras.
Mm-hmm. Showgirl, she's cackling, talking about doing theater. And this is the episode where they added the Tortured Poets department set and how excited that they were to have to be off work for 2 months, and actually you're in a private dance studio dancing and learning all these moves and stuff. And she knows what everybody had to put into the Eras Tour, and that's why she made sure and take care of everybody who was on it with her.
It was interesting during that episode when they were learning the new choreography for the Torture Poets department, and she was saying how since the music wasn't released yet, they can't just play it over a loudspeaker and dance. They have to all listen to it in their headphones and stuff like that.
What a challenge.
Which makes everything a lot harder to do, I would assume. And so it makes me appreciate all the hard work that went into it when we had no idea.
Yeah.
There were no clues. There was not a wink or anything like that something was coming out. And then she just completely changed her tour up.
She loves having it. She loves having a good secret.
Yes.
Which is just also so crazy because she made the point various times throughout the episodes about how, you know, all of the people that she's working with, the dancers, the choreographers, stage design, everything, like those are the best of the best. And it's people that have so much passion behind it, you know, because if you're working in a job where it's kind of like, oh, it's just a job, and the boss comes in and asks you to do all this extra work, you're like miserable. But these are people that took on the challenge, and that's what made it so great.
Yeah, one of the thoughts I had was like, gosh, I wish I had that much passion.
and it's funny because I feel like a lot of times throughout Taylor's career, people in the industry, people that have worked with her, always talk about her work ethic. They always talk about how hard she works and how like she basically makes things look easy and all this stuff. And so to actually see it in the docuseries, like, you know, all the time that they put in just to add in the Tortured Poets, the set, the Florida, like that part with Florida with Florence and the Machine, they worked on that for 6 days for one show.
Yeah.
You know, out of 200 whatever shows. Like that's an amazing dedication, because she was like, she makes every single show so special to all the people that are there. That's amazing. I'm so proud of her.
Florence saying that Taylor Swift's such this big entity, but really she's just a sweet, soft person. And then once Florence went up that lift and walked out on the Eras Tour stage, then she said, oh, that's Taylor fucking Swift.
Yeah.
And she could see the switch in that. And I just thought that was
funny.
So incredible, because they just have a different relationship. And she knows and sees her for who she is, but then she saw her in that moment and was like, oh, I get it. I get what's going on here.
Could you imagine just getting starstruck by your own friend? That was really, really cool. But Lacey, that wasn't the show that you were at, right? Because I was looking for you in the crowd.
No, I can't remember what day I went. Like, I remember everything about it, but she had 2 sections of London, but they still grouped it together in like the 8 days. So I was somewhere in the middle. I want to say I was the day after Ed Sheeran, but that might be. I know I was in London while Ed was there, but he was not at my show.
You know, but we might see more, because in the trailer for the docuseries, we saw when Travis was there, and we didn't see that in the first 2 episodes. So maybe we will see more of your show.
It says, I Did Something Bad was London Night 6.
Okay. That was what night? I knew it was I Did Something Bad.
And Coney Island, right?
Mm-hmm. And now I'm blanking. What's the name of that song? My boy only breaks his favorite
Oh
toys.
yeah, because that was right after we had broken it down on
Yeah.
our podcast. Ryan was asking me during the docu, because he wasn't home when I watched the docu series, but then he watched a bit of the
last show,
the Eras tour, the final show with me, and during the surprise song when she's about to go to the piano, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited, and he was like, do you know what song she's gonna play? And I was like, yeah, and he was like, if I give you a date, would you be able to name the surprise songs? And I was like, I can for opening night and closing night, because that's just like common Swiftie knowledge. And I could tell you the songs and I could tell you the songs that she played at the shows that I was at. And he was like, so if I give you like Wembley Night 4, could you name it? And I was like, no, but that's a really cool party trick.
You think there's someone out there that
Oh, I'm sure. There was somebody out there that listened to like 800,000 minutes on Spotify. It was like the number one listener.
Oh my
Which is nuts.
gosh.
I'm sure there's someone out there that has the trivia knowledge of like, okay, yeah, Arlington Night 2, which is fun because sometimes I will meet a Swiftie and they'll say like, oh yeah, I was at Arlington Night 2. Before I say I was there, I'll be like, oh my God, you got Death by a Thousand Cuts and Clean. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, amazing.
So the second episode was the one that featured a lot about Cam Saunders.
Wasn't it great?
That was so good.
Mm-hmm. And it was because we just know him as this big energy and this whole vibe. And he was a major star of the Eras tour. He got his own parts. He would do his improv and change everything. And he's so cute and happy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that. And then to peel back the curtain and know he was struggling. He was going to give it all up and got a random audition for someone he wasn't told who. And he called his brother and said, I think I need to be there. And his brother paid for his flight. And then look at his life ever since then. I mean, he was right on. But then all the invisible strings that come into play there, because then his brother also worked with Travis at one point. His brother, what's his brother's name? I know it's Saunders, but anyway, he was on the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't remember his first name.
Khalen. But I feel like he pronounced it Colin on the show.
Seeing his mom, seeing Cam be grateful and tell his mom, we would not be successful if it weren't for you, if it wasn't for everything that you did to support our lives and support us. His mom getting to go to the show and see him. It was so special. I love that Taylor confirmed Cam's energy, that he was infectious from the beginning, that he was just the whole vibe of anybody you would want to be around.
It was cool to see a clip from his audition.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, little did you know. And I'm curious if we'll see more little kind of tiny bit stories about more of the people on tour like that throughout the rest of the
I'd like
series.
to.
You know, I think it'd be really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of my favorite parts, I don't remember if it was in episode 1 or episode 2, but when she was talking to Travis on the phone.
Baby.
She was so excited when she was like, most people get an IV drip and I get this conversation. Like, oh my God, she's so...
The both of them.
That made me so happy.
And he's like, thanks for making my life better.
I know.
What a wonderful sentiment.
And they're
you know?
all giggly and stuff with each other. Yeah, so
and he's
cute.
like, when he was like, I want to be there. I want to be there. I saw somebody put it side by side, the lyric from, I believe it's So Long London, where it's like, and I'm not even sure if you want to be here. And then next slide is Travis being like, I want to be there. I want to be there. It was just so precious. And it was funny too, because, you know, how he said on the phone, he was like, I'm going to scour the internet, you know, in case you play that song or something. I love how he said, in case you play, like, you are the one person that could probably ask Taylor, hey, what are the surprise songs tonight? But he was like, I'm going to find out with everyone else, you know? And then I saw some Swifties posting screenshots of their stories from that night where, like, Travis had seen it. Like, he really was scouring the internet. He was like, what can I find from people that are there to see her? So that was really, really precious. Even though it's just a small little glimpse into their relationship, that was really beautiful.
What if we found out through this documentary that on the phone they baby talk each other? Oh, baby. Oh, Taylor.
Oh, like full on
baby talk. Like some of those couples do.
No.
Oh, baby.
I don't think I can handle it.
No. Thank God they don't do that.
You gonna go play football, baby?
No, stop. And then another favorite part, I think it was in the second episode, was Taylor's handwritten notes to all of her dancers and crew and every single person. She was like, it's bonus day.
You know what? I'm writing right now my Christmas list. I want a wax seal.
I know,
is
that
so
wax
cool.
seal. That I think also goes to show to what someone in here was talking about earlier about how much effort and hard work she puts into everything.
Yeah.
She didn't have to do a wax seal. Even
No.
her mom was shocked. Like, you put a wax seal on these 100 checks.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Yeah.
And a handwritten note to every single one.
Where she was like, it took a couple weeks.
Yes.
Which is also crazy because I feel like a lot of times, like when I need to do something, for last minute holiday shopping, last minute whatever, she like thought weeks in advance, like, let me start writing my thank you notes now.
For bonus day.
Bonus day. And she had them in her little like bags organized probably by like department. Like so sweet.
And we'll never know exactly how much she gave to every single person. We know that to some of the truck drivers, she gave $100,000 bonus to for one of the legs of the Eras tour.
Yeah, amazing.
And so I don't know if that's the same for every person, if other people got more or whatever it was, but there was a headline in the documentary that said that she gave $192 million worth of bonuses on the Eras tour. That's incredible. I know that we're here and all we do is kind of just praise Taylor, like she can do no wrong, but like that's amazing.
That's unheard of.
That's unbelievable.
Uh-huh.
And for people that are always saying just what an awful person she is, like, I don't know, is she? Is she that bad?
People want her to be the villain so bad.
I know. Like, I don't
they
see
want
headlines of other artists doing that.
I've seen people just be like, if you don't like her music, just do that and move on.
Yeah,
but
don't
like
listen.
actively every single day, there are people that try so hard to make her this horrible villain, heartless person where it's like time and time again, she has shown that to her core, she is a very loving individual.
Yeah.
And that she's just amazing. I think we praise a fabulous person.
Yeah, we picked the right one.
We really
I think
did.
you say that a lot of time. Like,
We
picked the right person to have a podcast.
Let's
about.
pat ourselves on the back, guys.
We did good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did good. But yeah, the first 2 episodes are incredible. I think we're gonna have 6 total, and where they're coming in sets of 2. Did you guys see the little thumbnails for all of the episodes?
I didn't. I didn't think they were there.
I didn't see them on my Disney Plus, but I think I saw them posted, and it looked like for some of the thumbnails, it looked like one of them was her trying on costumes, like we're gonna get like some sort of like dress rehearsal, which makes me think that we'll go like way back to the beginning.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Go back, and then there's another thumbnail that showed her in a studio. So I think we're gonna maybe get to see when she was like, doing Life of a Showgirl, and maybe the Tortured Poets too, if it goes back that far.
Yeah.
So. What a great time to be a Swiftie.
One thing that I just remembered from the documentary when you were talking about costumes is it showed a bunch of different boxes of her costumes that were all set up, and you saw all the different colored bodysuits. You saw all the different color frilly, fringy jackets and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, because it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
She would wear a different color.
Yeah.
And they just had them, in a bunch of different wardrobes. And it would say there's like 8 jackets here, and they're all different colors and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
Do you
Like,
think
that's a good behind the scenes look?
Yeah.
Do you think that she knew about like Mastermind and like our guessing games? Like
Eventually, I'm sure she knew that fans were having fun with
I hope
guessing
so.
what was happening.
I hope so. I'm so excited that we still have more. Like so excited. Thank you so much, Taylor. And happy birthday. This is crazy.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Even though this we'll post later, but still.
Well, there has been some other Swiftie stuff going on as well. We're just getting fed so much right now. But have you all been keeping up with reputation rumors? There's been some lyric changes.
Pretty crazy.
When I saw that, like I think it was the night before the docuseries came out, I saw something. I saw a post that was like Reputation Taylor's version, like something, and I was like, we are so back. We are so back.
The first time that I saw anything about the lyric changes was Sahir,
Yeah.
our intern, texted us like
Middle of the
at
night.
midnight or something, and I woke up and he was like,
With
"There's
video.
lyric changes on Apple Music only." And
Which I really appreciated because I sometimes like when I see stuff online, I'm like, this is AI or this isn't real. This is just for bait, whatever. But since it came from Sahir himself, I was like, oh. But
Pay attention.
Lacey, would you mind letting us all know what happened?
Yeah, so actually Britton Ray on TikTok is going to explain it. What happened to the rep lyrics this week and what she thinks is going on with it.
This is exactly what I think happened and why we're getting these new lyrics on Reputation. So for those of you who don't know, Taylor Swift just updated her entire discography to have Dolby Atmos. So this is what I think happened. She owns all of her music now, right? We know this. The Eras Tour documentary came out. In preparation for that, I think she decided it's time to update everything to have Dolby Atmos. And I want everyone to be able to listen to the highest quality, the best production, let's do it. And so back in the day when she was recording Reputation, she didn't really cuss as much in her music, right? So they obviously went for like a more cleaner, safer route. I think that as she was listening, going through the archives as they're updating her discography, she went like this. She's listening to I Did Something Bad, and then she hears the lyric, if a man talks shit, then I owe him nothing. And if he calls me a bitch, then he had it come in. I think she whipped her head around. She was like, wait, what was that? Play that again? She listens and she's like, wait a second. Did I say that? Maybe I am a bad bitch. Maybe I am savage. Put it in there. Just do it. Just do it. They'll go crazy with it. Just do it. Put it up there. Next song, Delicate plays. He said, oh, damn, never seen that color blue. It's goddamn. And she's, oh, whoa. Did I say that too? Put it in there. I'm Taylor Swift. I cuss now. Haven't you heard? I'm doing good. I'm on some new shit. I think about wood. Oh, just do it. Put it in there. Do it.
And I did see other people. I saw this late last night and I was like, oh, that's funny. TTPD 101 on Instagram said it's very obvious why we're getting these rep nods right now.
Flippin' Reputation, you guys. I can't. Everybody is coming in my DMs like, what do you think about the Reputation lyric changes on Apple? Obviously, I found tons of rep nods during her Colbert interview. I think she's tormenting us. Did you guys forget that week after week after week, we clown for Reputation? She's literally injecting the feelings that we felt during the Eras Tour while she gives us the Eras Tour, the final show. We were convinced Reputation was going to drop after that Vancouver night 3 of the Eras Tour, and it did not. And I honestly feel like she's just invoking the same emotions for us. So we feel at home. So we feel exactly as we did every week, watching her come out in that red bodysuit to eventually change for gold and then be like, that's it. That's all you get. So, no, I don't think Reputation, Taylor's version, is near necessarily. I think she's literally doing this because it's fun and it was part of the Eras Tour and it's part of being a Swiftie and Taylor Swift. I hope I'm wrong.
But that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because we did clown every single weekend so long, so hard. That's the only thing that we're missing right now as we're revisiting the Eras Tour. So if that is the sole intent of this, hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But also, Beautiful Eyes was from debut was added to streaming.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
No way. Oh my God,
So-
I listened to it on my way home.
So people are just wondering, is this more? Is she giving us a birthday surprise today on her birthday? And just one more, Just Be Thoughts on TikTok thinks that this dinner that she went on earlier this week means so much more after the Stephen Colbert interview.
Taylor Swift is going back in time with her music. So there's a whole part of this interview where she talks about how she loves listening to audiobooks and the kind of tropes that she likes to listen to, and the description of what the stories that she likes sound very no body, no crime, as other people have said, right? But then there's a specific part where she talks about how there's a brother who's disappeared. Where was he for 10 years? Which kind of made me think of everything that's happening for her in 2026 with her wedding and everything. What was she doing 10 years ago in 2016? Well, 2016 was when she won Album of the Year for 1989. And I've talked about this in videos before, how I feel like she keeps referencing the time period of 1989 before Reputation came out. The time period where we also think that there was the whole Karma lost album. The whole point of how Reputation starts is that it starts by her saying that the old Taylor is dead. And now suddenly she shows up talking about this whole podcast that sounds a lot like No Body, No Crime. And she talks about 10 years ago, the time during which old Taylor was alive. And then she further solidifies it by going to get Tuesday night dinner with Esty, very much referencing the lyrics of No Body, No Crime. And she literally just talked about how when she goes on walks that they're usually public and they're usually performative. And if the whole premise of that song is that if there's no body, there's no crime, right? Because there's no proof. So what if we're saying the whole old Taylor can't come to the phone right now because she's dead? What if she didn't actually die? What if it's just that the new version of Taylor that took over, the brand version of her that took over, is the unreliable narrator who's telling us she's dead? So what if we have the old Taylor come back for the vault songs and maybe possibly any other lost music?
She was out with the Haim sisters earlier this week, and I just thought that was an interesting take.
So those are our favorite parts from the latest documentary and the Colbert Report and everything like that. But just to pull the curtain back on everyone, we are not getting back together again for quite some time until probably after the new year. So I don't think we're going to be able to discuss anything from the new episodes of the docuseries.
For a little bit.
For a little bit. So just so y'all know.
But we'll have fun
Have fun
episodes.
Yeah.
Watching it. We have some holiday episodes coming up that we're recording later today. But so when it comes to future docuseries episodes, we may not be able to break them down as timely as these first two episodes.
Unless like something absolutely crazy
Unless something
bananas.
wild happens.
We'll be running to the studio.
We'll be running. But yeah, just to pull the curtain back today on Taylor's birthday, nonetheless, we are, it's a recording day. We're going to record a few episodes. So, yeah, just to let you guys know.
So, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year's Day. All right, let's check some voicemails real quick from our phone number, 689-214-1313. That is our Google Voice phone number.
No hesitation.
Corey in Nashville had this takeaway after listening to our episode about the Hall of Fame contenders.
Hi, 13 Podcast. This is Corey from Nashville. I'm literally driving to work right now, listening to your Taylor Swift songwriting episode. And I was thinking about the 5 songs that Taylor picked to represent her songwriting, and I realized that she picked songs with her main collaborators over the years. So Love Story she wrote by herself when she was really young. And you got All Too Well, which she wrote with Liz Rose, who was a collaborator for those first 2 albums for so long. Then you've got Blank Space, which is Max Martin and Shellback. Last Great American Dynasty, which is Aaron Dessner, and then Hero, which I believe she wrote with Jack. I mean, y'all can fact check me on that, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm pretty certain this all of her biggest co-writers. So not only is she saying these are the ones that I believe are my strongest work, she also picked them with the different people she's collaborated with over her career, which I think is really cool. Anyways, I noticed that and wanted to share because I thought y'all would appreciate that as well. Love the show, and y'all have a good one.
Well, Corey's correct. She did write Antihero with Jack Antonoff.
That's pretty cool.
According to Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool to know. I didn't think about it.
Me neither.
And that is a good thought. She's also shining a light on people that she's worked with and works closely with and wants to recognize them as well.
Yeah, and helps make her better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from the voicemail, we saw in the docuseries that Taylor Swift likes to challenge herself. She did it many times, just deciding, I'm going to write a double album and insert that into the Eras Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to perform all this choreography for one song. Could we ever be up to a challenge? A Lobster gave us an idea for a holiday challenge.
I have, let's call it a holiday challenge for you guys. I just listened to your fabulous episode nominating 5 songs for the Songwriting Hall of Fame. And here's your challenge. Use the titles of your 5 songs to make up a romance movie or book plot. So, yeah, use the 5 titles and have a protagonist, a love object, a beginning, middle, and end. Also, can you tell that I'm a writer? And I don't mean a full book, obviously, or anything long, just an elevator pitch. Okay, thought it'd be kind of fun. happy Christmas, and love your podcast.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
That is really smart.
That's really fun. A creative challenge.
That is a creative challenge. We haven't had a creative challenge in some time.
I know.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea. Should we do it?
Let's do it. Yes. Much like Taylor and all of her dancers and crew, we take on the challenge.
Okay.
So join us next time. I am feeling the pressure, especially after Taylor Swift has laid out exactly what it is that she wants. Then I'm like, ooh, Mom's telling us what she wants. I don't know if I can deliver, but we will try.
All right, so join us next time. We're going to get to thinking and brainstorming, and we will try and do this challenge. That sounds fun. So join us next time when we do that. And if you haven't already subscribed to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now, all the ways to contact us are in the description of this podcast. And join us next time. We're going to get creative.
Thanks for listening. The 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.